Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Red and Blues Brothers. I guess I'll be red today. Mike can be blue.
We're blue and
He's
Blues
all blue.
Brothers.
This is a special edition as Ole Miss baseball coach, assistant coach Carl Lafferty will be joining us a little bit later on. I'm excited about it.
Oh, Laff's the man. He genuinely, as a former player here, I was fortunate enough, he recruited my son, and I got to know Carl as a baseball coach and a father 10 years ago, and nobody works harder to represent the man. And he's shrewd, he's quiet, but he is thoughtful, insightful, and he can give us a look that you don't typically get. And Carl's that type of guy, and I'm excited he's going to be on today.
And a little bit later on in this show, I'm going to talk about a guy who was instrumental in my son's development, recruitment, whole 9 yards. That's Terrence Metcalf, who has just been hired as the assistant offensive line coach at Ole Miss. So without further ado, I'm going to disappear, and Carl Lafferty is going to be sitting in my chair.
Things are going to get a whole lot better looking in here, folks. I can tell you that.
No.
Morning, everybody, and welcome to the Red and Blues Brothers. As today we are honored to have Coach Carl Lafferty from Ole Miss baseball, and it's game day. We are inside live of the beautiful Velvet Ditch Coffee Roasters, the best coffee in Oxford. And Leslie's been gracious enough to host us in this beautiful place. And welcome, Coach. Good morning.
Excited to be here.
Thanks for coming aboard. It's game day.
Game day. Always a good day. Got a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series. So be on national television tonight, so we're excited.
Well, we appreciate taking the time here, visiting us with us shortly. You don't need any coffee or anything like that to get fired up. Do you wake up as an old football guy? Yeah. I used to wake up like it's game day. Let me go. I can feel it. You still feel it? Because I know you're a rebel.
Yeah, well, I got a little help. I've got twin 9-year-olds that wake up about 6:05, so they help me get the day going. But certainly as a coach, as a player, you love game day and fired up to get going. Well,
Carl was a player. He was a 4-year letterman at Ole Miss. He was a captain. He won't brag on himself, so I will. He's a career 300 hitter and was a captain in Mike's first year. It's 20 years now, Laff, being a Rebel. Changed your life as it did mine. It's a special place, and Ole Miss, the brand, has never been stronger, and it starts with the Ole Miss program. You guys won a natty before us football guys. My son likes to remind me of that, okay? So
sure.
As a brand, Ole Miss baseball, and from what you guys have built it in the 20 years you've been here, it's just been phenomenal. And it's a badge of honor. Wherever you go in the country, from the East Coast to the West Coast, people talk about Ole Miss baseball. And tell me a little bit, as the recruiting coordinator and one of the best in the country, the foundation, it starts with Coach B, but Carl has been phenomenal in evaluating talent. And that's not an easy thing. And talk to me a little, Carl, over the years, how it's changed from evaluating the talent and where you and where we are today, and how it's changed dramatically as far as roster evaluation with the portal and things like that. But you still want to get 4-year quality kids coming in here, getting the Ole Miss experience. I mean, it's amazing when you look at having a son that played here, the stamp and the influence you have on those young men in their futures. And that's still a vital part, and you guys build that, right?
No, absolutely. Recruiting has changed. The landscape's changed over the last 4 years, and there's been a ton of the news about the transfer portal and NIL. But even if you look at this year's team and you look at Judd Utermark and Will Furness, who are 4-year guys and some of the best players in our league, we always want to find the best high school players. And as we spoke earlier, culture is wildly important. But in the evaluation process, it's changed. From the time that we recruited your son, we were watching 9th and 10th graders play baseball, and you're projecting. You're looking at them and going, okay, I feel like he has the skills. Let's look at his frame. look at his parents, find out his work ethic, and how is he going to grow over the next few years and become a guy that can play in the SEC to now where when you get into portal recruiting, I'm literally flipping open a computer and looking at Synergy and True Media, and I'm looking at just a ton of video, almost like a football coach, and I'm looking at statistical information from swing rates, chase rates, zone rates, exit velocity.
Wow.
And so you've gone from the summers where you would see me out watching Mike, where you're sitting in Atlanta and you're there for 2 weeks sweating from sun up to sundown, to now you're in an office grinding through names and on a computer. And we still have some of that high school recruiting later in the summer, but it's not the 45, it's not the 60 days of it. So it has changed. It is a lot different. I think like anything, there's going to be an evolution, whether it's baseball or the tech world or anything else. And I think you have to adjust to it. And I think that's what obviously Mike has done a great job of in his tenure here as the head coach.
Well, what doesn't change is the culture, and it starts at the top with Mike and yourself, of course. I've always been fascinated with the team building aspect. So we're bringing in these kids, and you're seeing, okay, hit rates and swing rates, and they've got a record on what they've done. Now you've got to bring them in, and the culture starts. And one of my favorite things was always the Omaha Challenge. It's like Navy SEAL training. Yeah. And you guys are watching those, how they acclimate and interact with their teammates. You're bringing in a bunch of new guys, and it may be jumping in a pool and running stadiums and stuff like that. I mean, it's hard stuff. It's in November. It's cold. These guys are getting up at 5 a.m. You guys find out a lot about that team, but it's team bonding and building too for when you hit the battles of, let's face it, this is the best conference in college baseball. It's AA baseball in my book, and the 30-game gauntlet starts. It has started. You find out a lot about those guys. That's the culture part, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, again, you learn, like when you fail or you struggle or you make a mistake, hopefully you learn from it. And so one of the foundation pieces for us when we recruit a high school player, a junior college player, or a portal player, it's their makeup, it's their why. Why are they doing what they're doing? What type of kid? How is he wired up? Because that really matters, especially the way that we coach. And so when you see Mike bring a team together and start with them in August and start building that, it's one of his strengths. And you mentioned the Omaha Challenge, and the goal of that is, baseball's it's a tough game. It's an unforgiving game. It's there's some randomness into it. It's why we play 56 games versus 12 games in football. And so you put them in a situation like the Omaha Challenge, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to put them in uncomfortable situations, maybe doing things they haven't done before. Maybe it's physically demanding, and then seeing how they react. Trying to create a level of mental toughness that, baseball is such a mental game, and it can beat you up. And so the thing that we try to get our guys to do is play pitch to pitch, play for each other. And when you find a team that can consistently do that, it gives you your best chance to win. And so in my time working with Mike, everybody asked, hey, what's he like? And I've been here now, pinch myself for a long time, because Oxford is a great place. My boss is the man. He's a great baseball coach, which what you see, and a great runner of a program, but he's an outstanding human being.
No doubt.
And so, for us, the thing that we try to cultivate is, it has to be about the baseball, and certainly we're here to win. But we found out the best way to win is to create tough, good, I guess the word that we always talk about, relentless excellence, belief, selfless. Those are our core covenants, but trying to instill those in our players. And you find out that when they're living their life the right way and they're doing the right things, they're more confident, and you end up getting a better baseball player.
Well, as a father who experienced everything under Mike and watching from afar and knowing my son, sometimes I have to remind him, son, who packed your parachute?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That story, Mike told that story the other day.
He did tell I get goosebumps when I hear Mike give those pregame deals, and now with social media, they get right in the huddle.
Yeah.
It is a wonderful insight for the fans and Rebel Nation to get an up-close look at you guys and what you're actually doing, Mike. Yeah. Carl, it's a wonderful thing. And you have a knack for talent, and you have an ability to you found us a bunch of great lefties, crafty, not real big guys. I mean, when you're looking at a Wyatt Short, or you're looking at a Doug Nikhazy, and of course tonight, Hunter Elliott. Not big guys, and he's not a Lance Lynn body type. How do you look at it and evaluate that in that situation?
Well, that Mike talks about, he gets that question a lot, and he's on me to find more left-handers. But you talk about those three guys. You talk about Hunter Elliott, or you talk about Doug Nikhazy, or Wyatt Short, or any of the good left-handed arms we have. One of the things that's synonymous with all of them is they are unbelievable competitors.
Yeah.
And so when you're watching baseball, if you're trying to evaluate a young kid or evaluate an older pitcher, you look for them to have, do they have a weapon? When I say a weapon, do they have something that can create a swing and miss, whether it's a changeup, whether it's a fastball, and then do they have a real tenacity to compete? And when you find somebody that has something like a Hunter Elliott changeup and his fastball, or Wyatt Short's changeup, or Doug Nikhazy's curveball, when they have something that you go, this is a weapon that's going to give hitters difficulty, and then you find a great competitor, you have players that make you look good as a recruiter.
Well, it's not hard. You guys have done a wonderful job. Thank you for being here. And I'd like to bring in Adam Brown, who covers us on Ole Miss baseball. Tonight, they present a unique challenge in the Southeastern Conference. They're not a long ball team, right? They're undefeated. They went and swept Alabama.
They're a really good program. I think they're ranked in the top 25. You're going to see a team that wants to steal bases, that wants to bunt, that wants to put pressure on your defense, where most SEC offenses are categorized as, hey, it's a walk and a homer. It's the bloop and a blast. Like, they want to be more physical. So they play a little bit different style of baseball, but they're really good at it.
Well, I'm excited about this year, having followed. I'll be sitting there hollering and cheering on. Our pitching is as deep in our depth, and I just love the way you guys, the team you see that starts the season in February, or the second SEC weekend, our first home date tonight, get out there, Rebel Nation, and support this bunch, because our venue makes it special. Does it not, Carl? That stadium and our fans?
Well, everybody says, hey, as a recruiter, what do you do? Oxford sells itself. All I have to do is get them here for a football game in the fall, a baseball game in the spring. Even now with hoops, Coach Beard creating a great environment over there. But you walk around Oxford, places like this, and just the reason I've been here for 20-something years, it's an easy place to fall in love with. So we're fired up for tonight.
Thank you.
Coach, as y'all open up SEC home play tonight against Kentucky Wildcats, what type of challenge do they bring to y'all? Test 1 2, test 1 2. Test 1 2, test 1 2.
Okay, yeah, I can pull it up. Go ahead.
Copy.
Yeah? Go ahead.
Coach, just coming off of opening the SEC against Texas, y'all come back home to Swayze to host Kentucky. What type of challenge does that bring?
They're unique in the brand of baseball that they play. So a lot of it will be the running game. You'll see a lot of stuff with, there's a runner on second base, just different things we're doing to control them, because they want to steal, they want free 90s. You're going to see I think they may lead the conference in HBPs. They definitely lead the conference in stolen bases. They will do the short game and bunt a lot, and their goal is to get free 90s, move up, free base runners, and kind of the Bill James on base percentage, just get base runners and then create havoc, and hopefully puts pressure on your defense, puts pressure on your pitcher. Maybe controlling the running game for the pitcher doesn't allow him to execute as well in the strike zone. Maybe the short game and stealing bases puts pressure on the defense that causes errors, and that's the way they want to score runs. I will say this, people will look at their power numbers and think, hey, they may not hit that many home runs. I think they're a little more physical than people give them. They play in the biggest park in the SEC, and a lot of times it's pretty chilly up there and the wind blows in. So I don't discount, I think they hit a few home runs last weekend when the weather turned. So I think they present a lot of different issues, so to speak, but that's why they're ranked in the top 25.
Coach Benchione is known to be a top coach in the league, along with Coach B. Just what has he meant to that program up there?
He's done a great job. When you look at the history of it, getting them to Omaha, putting a consistent team that competes every year. A few years ago they built a beautiful stadium, and they're doing a good job recruiting up there. But I think the thing that I really have a lot of respect for is their team is very disciplined, and they execute their brand of baseball at a high level, and that's just an earmark of good coaching. So he's had a lot of success over the last few years up there, and it certainly makes sense.
Coach, just looking at the lineup. Just what has Becerra and Unimore's power meant to y'all this year?
Yeah, well, those guys, I think everybody knew about Judd from last year, and he's such a great story because, his first couple years, we saw the potential in him, but he was dealing with 2 shoulder surgeries and really being banged up. Becerra, a little similar, when you looked at him and he was transferring and leaving Clemson, his 2 years ago, he had a pretty good year. Last year at Clemson, it was marred with injuries, and we knew it because of a connection with Taylor Rabe, because they're from similar hometowns, knew each other, and so we knew a little bit about his story. Where he had a wrist issue in the fall, then hurt his throwing arm in the spring, so it really didn't allow him to be healthy and give the year that he was capable of. When you look at some of the underlying metrics with him, we knew he had a ton of power. We knew, like, if you talk to him for 5 minutes, and even once he got in the portal, talking to the Clemson coaches, they're like, hey, man, he's a great kid. He's a great person. We knew it was a good fit. And I think now you're seeing a healthy Tristan Becerra, get to his full potential, and we're certainly grateful for it.
Coach, just looking at, on the mound, just you have Hunter, you have Cade, you have Will Liebert. Then, for starters, then you have Hudson Calhoun. What has Hudson Calhoun and Taylor Rabe meant for the program this year?
I think they're what helped give us what I would say is a great pitching staff. The starters that you mentioned, they've been outstanding. Cade's been a little dinged up, but the exciting thing is we got a clean MRI back. He should be back pitching very soon. But specifically with Taylor and Hudson, obviously 2 kids that you've watched come in and really develop in the program, really grow into their own. And I give a ton of credit to Coach Mangrum because I think, it's their hard work and his hard work that, has shown up this year, where you're seeing guys that, throw the baseball as well as anybody in our league. And certainly the impact that Hudson's had on Friday coming in behind Hunter has made that a tough matchup for anybody on Friday night. And everybody's getting to see what Rabe can do. I think he was up to 100 miles an hour this past weekend at Texas, and there's a lot of good baseball in his future. So we're excited those guys are, in our uniform.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Yep, happy to do it.
And we want to thank Ole Miss assistant baseball coach Carl Lafferty for sitting down with my co-host Mike Fitzsimmons. Very, very good interview. We also want to thank the owner and the founder of the Velvet Ditch, Leslie Walkington. And we're in this beautiful place, Leslie. This used to be a gas station, right?
It was. Originally it was a gas station, and then a family bought it, and they literally left that lean-to roof, and they put the new gable on top of it and built a home and raised their children here.
I want to tell you guys, if you haven't been to the Velvet Ditch Coffee Roastery in Oxford, it is the absolute best coffee
thank
that
you.
I have ever had.
Thank you.
And I've had, I think, 3 cups this week. And I think after school today, we're coming by to get matcha with my 11-year-old. And I know Mike Fitzsimmons is off camera over there. He agrees with me 100%, right?
Jet fuel.
See, jet fuel.
Jet fuel.
Look, the other day we were in here talking with Leslie. I was up at 1:30 a.m. And I'd like to say I was doing something productive, but I was watching YouTube videos, DUI arrests. That's what you get if you drink the Velvet Ditch Roastery coffee, man. Now, Leslie, something I was kind of amazed to find out is that you roast your own beans, and you
do right here.
You
at
went
the coffee shop.
You went to school. You went to roastery school.
I did. So I've had a whole career, and then I learned about that you could actually roast coffee beans, and I learned about different processes for brewing coffee and roasting coffee, and so I just fell in love with the whole from the farm to the cup, Mm-hmm. There's so much to explore and so much to learn. So yeah, I started roasting 2000, and I started this coffee shop. Well, I started roasting for Oxford 2021, so I've been roasting here in Oxford for 5 years, serving the community. And Chicory Market has been selling my bags ever since I first started roasting, selling bags of my coffee. And so my followers and people that drink Velvet Ditch coffee, they just have expanded, and the business grew organically. And so I bought this house, rehabbed it, and now we have an actual coffee shop, and I put my roastery in the old carport. And so it was really fun to build this property and make it into a hub so Oxford can come here and kind of unwind and unplug and play a board game or play cards.
So
hang out.
you mentioned the roastery, and you actually do that over there in the carport.
Yeah, we can show video of that too.
Man, this is amazing. Look,
I can roast 25 pounds at a time. So in 1 hour, I can roast like 100 to 125 pounds. I have a couple of coffee shops that I roast beans for. The Ford Toyota dealer here in town serves my coffee in their showrooms. And so I roast a lot of coffee for a lot of people here in North Mississippi.
Beautiful place. And look, if you haven't been, you've got to come. It's
you.
on North Lamar in Oxford. And it's not easy to get here right now. I can testify to that because of the road construction.
Oh yeah, the roundabout construction, yes.
I had to I got lost. I had to GPS my way in here.
That's all right.
But we need more roundabouts, right?
That's
But look, great place. Look, merchandise is everywhere.
Thank you.
You can get Velvet Ditch Roastery shirts, the hats, the
mugs.
coffee.
Yeah, we've got new mugs, like custom, what do you call it? Pottery mugs, like they were handmade.
That's cool. I collect pottery.
There you go.
Don't tell anyone.
They're all handmade. Everyone is individual.
All right. For Leslie Walkington, I'm David
Thank
Johnson.
you.
So we're going to bring Mike Fitzsimmons, the absolute hunk of a man, back in here in just a second. And we're going to talk a little more football before we wrap it up for today. Leslie, thank you for joining us.
It was my pleasure. Glad y'all were here.
Thank you.
Welcome back, and as we close it out with my partner David Johnson, my red and blues brothers, although it's blue and blue today.
Listen, I had red.
You've turned into a comedian all of a sudden.
Mike just threatened to hit me.
No.
Because of the hunk of man comment.
No,
yeah.
well,
But look at him. I mean, this guy. Look, former great Ole Miss Rebel. Like when I was a kid, 12 years old. I was 12 years old.
This is making me feel
really
old.
I was a kid. This guy was a star at Ole Miss, sacking quarterbacks, eating running backs. I mean, I'm a fan, Mike. I'm a fan.
But I know, David.
Don't
I am just thrilled to be here, and I don't know. Somewhere on the way today, you found a sense of humor. Keep it up. I'm liking it.
He told me if I keep it up, he's going to hit me with his right hook.
No, I might bump into you, but don't worry about it. You're good.
We're not worried about that. So big news today. Ole Miss has announced the hiring of my good friend Terrence Metcalf as John Garrison's assistant offensive line coach. I'm going to tell you this, they couldn't have hired a better person for that position. Terrence is awesome. And we'll talk a little bit more about him. Also, congratulations to my friend Marcus Woodson, who we're working on getting him on the podcast, as well as Todd Cooley, by the way. Pete Golding is going kind of Mississippi with his hires, is he not?
Well, David, he's putting his stamp and his brand on this football team. And it started for me when he went out and he addressed the defense. Signed, 12, 13 guys with over 6,000 snaps. We are going to be better defensively. The brand, the Pete Golden stamp, he's a defensive coordinator, I think one of the best in the country. And now he brings in Terrence Metcalf, and you and I both know it starts in the trenches. And Coach Garrison has done a marvelous job with that offensive line. And you bring in a guy like Terrence, who loves Ole Miss, that knows football, an all-time great, a recent inductee into the College Football Hall of Fame. And you bring in Marcus Woodson, a guy that loves Oxford, loves Ole Miss, wore the uniform. And, there's something to be said about that culture, which we talked about earlier with Carl Lafferty. Look, Ole Miss is a national brand, and you don't just come in here and be a rebel. You act like a rebel, and there's a certain standard. And when you bring in enough guys that love this place and have bled for it, it feeds into the players. This isn't just laundry we're wearing. You understand? We feel it, live it, and love Oxford and Ole Miss, and I like the hires.
Let's talk about Woodson first. I've known Marcus Woodson, obviously, since he was a player here at Ole Miss. And that's the point you got to stress. Woodson and Metcalf both were players at Ole Miss.
Absolutely.
Metcalf, an All-American. And he's the father of DK Metcalf, one of the best wide receivers in the country. Terrence is the reason I'm in Oxford, Mississippi. Terrence and I went in business together 16, 17 years ago to launch the Game Time Rebels magazine.
Okay.
And we became really good friends, and DK used to spend the night at my house occasionally. But what Terrence did for my son barefooted, is probably 6'1 and a half. They listed him, I think, at 6'1, somewhere around there. But he trained with Terrence from the time he was 13 years old to the time he graduated high school. And he also trained with Jason Wilfon, who was on Houston Nutt staff here. But Terrence made my son technically excellent. And he was very, very strong. And combining that with his technical excellence, he started in the SEC. And guys, I credit Terrence for a lot of that. And how expensive was it? He never charged a dime, period. Never paid Terrence Metcalf a dime to train Eli Johnson into being an SEC offensive lineman. Woodson recruited Eli while he was an assistant coach at Memphis. And we always stayed in touch, really, from the time he was at Arkansas to going to K-State. So I'm excited about that, honestly, because it's better sourcing for Ole Miss 365.com. That's all I got to say about that. We got spring ball coming up. Big bait.
We're at 5 minutes now. If you want to go into just like
Trinidad tomorrow.
Trinidad.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then also, yeah, obviously, anything about the pro day?
No, there's not much
That's
to
past.
say.
That's not.
What much to say? I don't know.
Let's say.
Just go into what where you are and like where the subscribers are, and then whatever the deal is, and we can close.
And Trinidad.
Yeah, got it.
At the furniture location.
Got it. I'm gonna start from the just cold. Let's go.
Go.
And we've got spring ball coming up, and that's going to be exciting. And look, you can subscribe to OleMiss365.com right now. Cancel at any time. It's free for the first 30 days. Then they'll start charging you a monthly fee. But again, you can cancel at any time. So take advantage. Get the coverage. Also, we're going to have the debut of Radio Ray's podcast on OleMiss365.com probably Monday morning. And the first guest he has is Trinidad Chambliss. How about that?
Wow.
That's as good as it gets, guys. And we're going to have Trinidad. We're filming it this weekend.
Heisman candidate.
Yeah.
Favorite, in my opinion.
Oh, he ought to be the
Trinidad
front runner.
Chambliss.
Absolutely, I agree. And we're gonna shoot it at the title sponsor for the podcast, which is the Furniture Source, out on Highway 6. I'm not gonna say what time, because honestly, there would be a flood of people out there lined up for autographs and stuff. And
Let them come.
well, y'all know where it is. Call Mr. Freeman, who is the manager of the Furniture Source, and ask him if he'll tell you what time. And if he does, the more the merrier.
I'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah, Saturday, not tomorrow. But
Saturday.
But anyway, listen, I want to thank you all. I want to thank our guests, the owner, proprietor, founder of the Velvet Ditch Coffee Roastery. And honestly, is it not the best coffee you've ever had?
It is jet fuel, and I'm a coffee connoisseur. The best coffee I've ever had was in Jamaica, and they're renowned for their coffee beans. But I will tell you this, as a coffee connoisseur and lover, and I need it to get my day going, I'm a much more pleasant and nicer person with coffee and caffeine. I've got to give it.
Lord Leslie,
has
get
done a hell
a
of a
picture
job.
of
And
that
this stuff is
coffee over here
delicious,
now.
and it's jet fuel.
He's nicer with coffee.
No doubt,
Let's
no
get him
doubt.
some.
Coffee puts a smile on my face.
This guy's already threatened to whoop me. I mean,
no.
but listen, thank you all.
You got coffee in it.
Yeah, no kidding. Hey, thank you all for listening to the Red and Blues Brothers, at least for now, podcast. I'm just kidding.
It's not Black and Blues Brothers, right?
No.
Keep it up, David.
Yeah.
Have your fun, my
I think
friend.
he insulted
Have
me,
my
but
fun.
that's okay. Listen, we'll be back next week. We've got some more big guests lined up for you. And don't forget, free for the next 30 days. Take advantage of it. I'm telling you, this is a big time of the year. For Mike Fitzsimmons, I'm David Johnson. You've been listening to, again, the Red and Blues Brothers podcast. Give me five. All right.
My man.
On OleMiss365.com.
Hotty toddy.